All right, we're gonna get started. Thank you all for coming out. I know it's not a great night tonight, but appreciate you being here. Hopefully everyone got a copy of the agenda that's up on the table and everyone got a chance to sign in. If you didn't sign, if you're a agency member, there should be a section there for you guys to sign in. If you're a public member, you should be able to sign in. And if you're a board member, please sign it in the attendance sheet. A couple of us are out this month. Some work trips are planned. Carolyn is out, on medical, and I know Michael is on his way, so hopefully he should be here shortly. All right. So in terms of, I believe we have a forum. Yeah, we have a forum. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Second by Chris. Thank you, Chris. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from our December meeting? That we didn't have a meeting last month, December.
Minutes for, I haven't said that.
They're all in the UST committee folder, all the minutes from every meeting. And then they were distributed during the December general order. They're in the packet. So I didn't send it out to the team, but I can do that if it's better for everyone to keep track.
So it's the December one that went to general.
Yes. Okay, any issues with adopting the minutes? Can I hear a motion?
Motion to adopt the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. All right. So our first presentation or discussion is coming from New York City DOT. I think we have a couple of you here. So please introduce yourselves. And we're looking forward to what you have to say. Hello, Malik.
Great. My name is Luke Salvados. I'm a community coordinator at New York City DOT.
I'm Jamie Cho from MTA and I'm a bus service planner.
So we have a presentation. It's currently on a flash drive connected to this computer. How would you like us to present the presentation?
I defer to the IT expert here, I feel. What's easiest for you?
They could do the PowerPoint slideshow. Would it be different?
Yeah. Want us to come closer, or is there an ideal sitting arrangement that you prefer?
I'm good with my feet.
Great. Jamie and I are.
You just need us to move the screens?
You have to give me permission to share.
Works for you. We will accommodate.
Yeah.
And while I think we get all of the DOT folks settled for the presentation, I did just want to introduce myself. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Santa Ynez. I'm the Manhattan Deputy Borough Commissioner with DOT. I had to join virtually tonight, but we're also joined by Lyle Blackwood, who is our Northern Manhattan Borough Planner, who covers CBs 9, 10, and 12. So thank you so much to CB9 for adding us to the February agenda. Luke, Dustin, and Jamie will run through the slides, and they were graciously able to join you today in person. So I apologize I couldn't be there to shake your hand. But we're all here to answer questions following the presentation. There's about 25 slides that highlight why we're thinking about improvements on 116th Street between CBs 9, 10, and 11. So we're looking forward to the feedback the board and committee will be able to share with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, I think we are almost set.
Operate the.
I'm very sensitive. Do you mind if I sit here? All right,
thank you, everybody, for attending today. We're joined by,
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie and I'm a bus service planner at MTA. And then I'm also joined by my colleagues, Ryan Richardson.
and we're also joined by,
Dustin Koo, DOT.
and I'm Luke Salvador at DOT. We're excited to talk to you today about, the 116th Street, corridor, between Morningside Avenue and Pleasant Avenue. We're looking to make bus priority improvements. And specifically in CB9, we're looking to make improvements in and around Manhattan Avenue, which is shared by your district. You can see here, this is a Manhattan Avenue bus stop, which is currently being kind of blocked by a couple of double parked cars in front of it. This kind of situation happens a lot, as I'm sure you guys know, where drivers have to go into the oncoming lane in order to cycle through Manhattan Avenue. Oh. Wow. Okay. Well, we're done there tonight. How's everybody? Let's go back to the beginning.
Like something is.
Okay, I'm just gonna I'm gonna stop the share and I'm gonna pull up the other type of file. Yeah.
What I can do is I can probably
Oh.
turn off the,
And-
I think it's a keyboard.
Luke, could I also try to share the screen from my end?
Okay, this. Okay, can everybody see this?
Title slide, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you put the owl on the table?
Yeah,
Thank you.
seems connected to.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the cord is too short and it's
Okay.
very fragile. I don't
okay, no problem.
want it to break.
Okay, so today we're gonna go through introduction and background, the existing conditions of the corridor, a toolkit, what items do we have at our disposal for a project like this, next steps, and then we'll turn it over through to an open discussion to hear feedback from everybody here about what we've talked about today. So, the CB9 segment we're looking at is Manhattan Avenue between 113th and 110th Street, and Morningside Avenue between 113th and 114th. It's a pretty small footprint, small but mighty footprint here in that touches CB9. This study area actually serves a lot of bus passengers. It serves 3 bus routes. Those bus routes in turn serve over 40,000 daily bus riders. Those are across the whole route, but what we often find is that when we make bus improvements to a portion of our route, it has downstream impacts. So this segment here has crosstown service with connections to the B and C. The roadway itself is a neighborhood connection between Morningside Heights and Harlem, with the park being kind of a natural border between the 2 neighborhoods. And our work here on Manhattan Avenue supports overall goals to improve bus speeds and pedestrian safety. Here's the greater study area. So you can see how Manhattan Avenue is a small segment of the larger corridor that we're looking at for bus improvements. Manhattan Avenue is cited in the New York City Streets Plan as a little bit too, I think the keyboard is the thing that's kind of causing some challenges. Disconnecting.
Let's check that out.
Let's see. So the New York City Streets Plan was passed by New York City Council 2021. And it laid out several transit goals, in addition to a lot of other goals. For us, we're looking to improve sustainable travel modes by reconfiguring streets expand access to job opportunities through faster and more reliable transportation options, and allow all New Yorkers to get around in multiple ways without encountering barriers to travel. This map here shows how Manhattan Avenue has been cited as a corridor for future bus priority projects, and it straddles priority tier 1 and tier 2 neighborhoods. So these are areas of the city that DOT has not invested in compared to other neighborhoods, and we have, you know, an equity reason to prioritize more in these types of neighborhoods. To date, we haven't done very much work on Manhattan Avenue. We have done work on Morningside Avenue. You're probably all familiar with this project. It was implemented in 2014. It installed pedestrian islands, left turn lanes, stop signs, crosswalks, traffic signals, and all in all, we're really proud of this project because it reduced pedestrian injuries by 40% after implementation. So it's this type of work that we're really looking to bring in these types of safety benefits to Manhattan Avenue and the greater corridor. So I'll push it over to Jamie from the MTA.
Thank you. So overall bus speeds are slow throughout the day, on Manhattan Avenue in the study area. These maps over here focus on the M116 stop-to-stop bus speeds during the AM peak, the midday, and then also the PM peak, where we generally see speeds slow down from AM peak to PM peak, and then most segments have speeds of less than 7 miles per hour, going down to less than 5 miles per hour in some segments. We go to the next slide. As Luke mentioned earlier, there are more than 40,000 daily weekday riders that use the M3, M7, and M116. On Manhattan Avenue between 116th Street and 110th Street, there are about 2,800 daily weekday riders that get on and off the bus in this segment. As you can see on the stop level ridership map, stop usage is higher near the B and C subway stations, ranging from 516 to 650 on and offs per stop, while on the lower end, it is between 115th Street and 111th Street, ranging from 400 to 368 ons and offs per stop. We can go to the next slide. Oh, wait, sorry. Going to the previous. So as you can see on the on-bus ridership map, it illustrates the high ridership that travels through this segment. We've at least 3,000 riders going southbound and 4,500 riders going northbound. All of these benefit from bus priority. And ultimately, the current traffic conditions and slow speeds make it difficult for us to deliver fast and reliable service to our customers, who really depends on these routes to get to their everyday destinations, such as to work, to school, or to go shopping. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Jamie. As I'm sure everybody here knows, Manhattan Avenue is a little bit of a slog, and you can see it in these traffic speed maps. We just looked at the bus speed maps, which are, Jamie pointed out, are very slow, slower than 7 miles per hour. But general traffic speeds are almost comparable with in the PM peak, which is between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. The southbound slows down to about 9 miles per hour. This data was taken from 2024, October 2024, Tuesdays through Thursdays. The graph on the left is the AM peak, and the map on the right is the PM. So the demographics of the area around this CB9 study area, there are over 10,000 residents within an eighth of a mile. The majority do not own a car, 76%. That's above the city average of 55%. 86% of the people who live within an eighth of a mile commute to work via transit, walking, or biking. That is above the city average of 71%. In terms of safety, there from 2019 to 2023, there were 32 people who were injured in crashes along the study area. 3 people were severely injured. And you can see the hot spots on this map, being at 110th Street.
Where there was a death.
We,
In 2024, so it would be on there.
oh, yeah, we haven't gotten the 2024 data yet. In terms of public health, the 116th Street corridor, it has neighborhoods along the 116th Street corridor have high rates of asthma, diabetes, heart disease, in part due to vehicular pollution. Increased transit use can contribute to improved air quality by reducing reliance on personal vehicles and decreasing associated exhaust pollution. Research shows that transit may promote social connections and lower rates of depressive symptoms in older adults, and that transit is linked to increased walking, which is good for health. We got these statistics from the Department of Health. And you can see here on the right, these are childhood asthma hospitalizations between 2017 and 2019. And you can see where our study area is here relative to the rest of the city. So the visions and challenges for this area, we want to make bus service fast, reliable, and on time. We want to make the corridor safe, not only to walk, but to drive. We want to ensure access for residents. This is a residential neighborhood. We also want to make sure that we have a vehicle loading, like commercial vehicles. This area sees a lot of deliveries every single day, and we really need to accommodate that in how we plan out our streets. And we want to explore the expansion of programmable space. Challenges are traffic congestion, double parking, vehicle access needs, and circulation needs. Here is a picture from 110th Street and Manhattan Avenue. You can just see the amount of buses. There are 4 buses in this photograph, all between 110th and 111th Street. So we kind of see this as a bottleneck in the network. The existing conditions, in terms of roadway, the Manhattan Avenue is 42 feet wide. That's not a lot of space when it comes to the amount of bus routes that are going through here and just the neighborhood connectivity. Morningside Avenue between 114th Street and 113th Street narrows from 42 feet wide down to 22 feet wide. You can see that on this map here. In terms of our toolkit, we're looking at a few different things for bus priority. One are curbside bus lanes. These run along the curb right next to bus stops, so that buses can pull right in. Curbside bus lanes can be programmed to accommodate the needs of the neighborhood. Like we have time limits. So oftentimes our curbside bus lanes are for daytime and morning and through the evening peak, but it fluctuates overnight as curbside parking. So that's one thing that we should flag there. We're also looking to improve bus stop spacing. So we're working very closely with Jamie and her team at the MTA to look at, there's a lot of bus stops within this corridor, and do all of them need to be there? Sometimes bus stops can slow down service patterns. And then we're also looking at queue jump signals. These are traffic signals that are just for buses so that they can get ahead of traffic. In terms of our bus stop toolkit, we're looking at physical accessibility here on the right. This is something that we're really proud of. Our crews do a lot of great work to make sure that pedestrian ramps are ADA compliant. We are looking, one other item are leaning bars. You've seen this on bus stops throughout the city, benches, and bus stop borders. These are rubber devices that extend out into the street and help the bus so that it doesn't have to pull all the way to the curb. In terms of pedestrian safety, we're looking at a few different options for this area. One is slip lane conversion. So it's the pedestrianization of a lane that kind of acts as a way for people to speed through the network. We're also looking at curb extensions and daylighting. This is a project that we're really proud of in CB11, where at the Park Avenue Viaduct, we created these concrete pedestrian extensions to improve visibility. In terms of parking, truck loading is a very critical component. In residential neighborhoods, we also do neighborhood loading zones, so that you don't have to be a truck. You could be, let's say you're moving in, you can use a neighborhood loading zone as an option for you. Short-term parking, these are especially important in commercial areas, where circulation on the curb is really important for businesses. No parking and no standing areas. This also is a treatment that we use for daylighting. So, daylighting, as a lot of people know, is where we kind of improve visibility at an intersection. And sometimes we can do that through no standing regulations. Other tools are traffic signal timing, so that the progression of movement from one end of the corridor to the other is smooth. We also have these high-tech tools, transit signal priority, which coordinates the traffic signals with the bus so that as the bus approaches, the buses get a little bit more green time. I don't know how it works, but we have people, I think, on the call who do. It's very interesting technology. Bus lane camera enforcement. So DOT has stationary cameras that we can put to enforce bus lane regulations. These stationary cameras enforce moving violations, and the on-bus MTA cameras enforce stopping violations, like double parking in the bus lane. We also have at our disposal the ability to put in tree pits and make streetscape improvements. We coordinate closely with the Parks Department to put trees in our projects. We also have the ability to put in automated pedestrian signals. Those are those chirping audible signals that help people with vision disabilities to cross the street better. We're also connecting with our art department for the potential asphalt mural or other types of art. So that's a lot. I know I've been kind of droning on. Thanks for listening. The next steps are to get your feedback. We want to hear what you're thinking, how you use the corridor. You know, what are your experiences on this corridor? We are going to continue data collection and site visits. We're working with a traffic consultant to analyze the impact of any kind of bus priority that we have on the corridor. This winter and spring, we're going to continue public outreach to all 3 community boards, elected officials, and other stakeholders. We're continuing the traffic analysis. We're also developing and sharing our draft plans. And of course, your feedback helps to refine this proposal. And we're hoping at potential implementation in summer or fall of this year. So to kind of get us started with a discussion, here are some questions. How is Manhattan Avenue and Morningside Avenue operating right now? What works, what doesn't work? Are there any problematic locations or conditions? What additional stakeholders that we might not know what are on this corridor?
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. And are we the first community board that you've visited so far?
Yes, based on how the calendar works out, yes, you're the first edition presentation. Yeah,
We're going to 10 and 11 next week.
All right, I want to give an opportunity for the committee members to ask questions. Gretchen, is your hand up? Go ahead.
So it's a little bit of all of the above in terms of existing condition and potential stakeholder and maybe things that'll come as a result of this. This is fantastic. I'm very excited that you're looking at it. I live very close to this area. But the area or the item that I don't think is directly addressed in this presentation is the farmer's market. And the farmer's market is a cause of a lot of those trucks, the days that they have it. And so one of my concerns, like I love that that's being addressed, but one of my concerns that's maybe I just don't want to get overlooked is that it's already a problem with double parked trucks on 110th Street. So if we make the improvement on Manhattan Avenue, I don't want then the double parked trucks to be even worse on 110th Street, blocking the bike lane, which they're already doing.
That is a really great flag. And thank you for letting us know. We don't want to create a project that pushes one problem over to another area.
Like, I love having a farmer's market. I don't want anyone to think I'm a
Yeah.
Grinch about that. It's fantastic, but.
Yeah, and those are a stakeholder that we're aware of and we hope to coordinate with and communicate with, to make sure that everybody's needs are being met. It's one of the reasons why people probably ride the bus on
Right.
Manhattan Avenue to get to those shopping destinations. So we're really aware of that, and we want to design a project that can kind of complement the existing land use, because that's a really great use and is just something in the neighborhood that's really special.
Yeah, fantastic presentation, love this idea, the M116 is, could be faster, I used to live on First Ave, 116th Street, and I would often use that to get to the 6, and it would take, it would be faster to walk. But one thing that I really, I'm looking forward to is a removal of the slip lane on Morningside Avenue, because that is inherently very unsafe for road users that are most vulnerable, pedestrians, cyclists. That slip lane, encourages, motor vehicles to go faster. And if we could just get rid of that slip lane, that'd be like, you'd be saving lives, so.
Thank you for that. Yes, that slip lane, it's a one-lane street. It's 42 feet wide, and one thing we find is that when there's a really wide lane like that, it encourages speeding. So we're keeping aware of that, and thank you for that feedback.
Anybody else from the committee? Okay, public member, go ahead.
Okay, not in Community Board 9, but that whole strip, Frederick Douglass Boulevard, you've got a shopping center at 118th, which I don't know when it went in, but it's getting more and more popular. So people probably walk to the 116 from there.
Yeah, that's a
And
really,
there's a lot of bars and businesses on Frederick Douglass. It's an amazing area.
yeah.
So I could imagine that's a big destination, and also about that slip lane on Morningside. I bike on that thing, I go straight across, cause it's scary, I don't want to have anything to do with that slip lane.
That is a really good flag. One other thing that we've noticed is that if you're walking on the west side of Manhattan Avenue down, you actually
Yeah, you don't have the sidewalk.
you don't have a sidewalk. The sidewalk cuts out. So that's something that we're looking at to see, are there opportunities to work with Parks Department to improve pedestrian access in the neighborhood?
Gretchen,
Yeah, I don't want to speak for them, but my understanding is that Friends of Morningside Park is very excited about that slip lane going away, or the potentially going away. The other thing I was gonna say, and you referenced it in one of the earlier images as a part of the success of the work that was done along Manhattan Avenue, and only because our good friends from the NYPD are here. The photo that you have is fantastic, but on any given day, there are any number of cars parked or vehicles, trucks parked in the painted island. So I feel like, anything that we do is only gonna be as good as the enforcement.
That's a really great flag, we have other items in our toolkit, such as granite blocks, we have flexible delineators, we have this thing called quick curve. You might have seen it. We use those types of tools to daylight treatments, and those are physical additions to the roadway, which can, prevent people from just parking. So
I really like the boulder.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
is there anyone online that has any questions or comments? If you raise your hand, I will give you permission.
I think I saw some comments in the chat. I don't know how to operate this stuff. Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. April Adams, who's a committee member, said that, thank you for improving the M116 corridor, such a busy corridor that needs help. Okay, I don't see any hands up. I just wanted to ask you guys, you don't have a preliminary vision yet of what you would actually put along that corridor.
No, we don't, we have these toolkit items, but we're, at this stage, we're accepting feedback and we want to hear what people think. This is a collaborative process. we want to hear and work with you to develop this type of thing. Because it's only when we're attending these types of meetings and hearing about the farmer's market, about Friends of Morningside Park, about the slip lane, that you experience on a day-to-day basis. It's those types of things that really help inform us. So we don't have a vision quite yet, but, we'll get there and we're gonna work with you every step of the way.
And I think
Certainly-
if I just may add to Luke's response there, we are attending the transportation committees for 9, 10, and 11 this month. On the last slide that spoke about next steps, it did say that the team will continue to complete more outreach and engagement with each of the different communities. I think there was, some talk about a walkthrough and further develop the proposal. In a couple of months, I think Lyle will be back in touch with the CB about getting on the calendar to actually have the team present our draft proposal then. And that will be ahead of our hoped for summer, fall implementation. Just wanted to add that.
And if you have, like, sometimes after hearing a presentation, you might go out on the street and you might look. And if you think of anything, you know how to get in touch with Jennifer, you know how to get in touch with Lyle. We just really want to encourage you because we're in close contact with Lyle and Jennifer, and they'll let us know, if you guys have ideas or anything like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that Lafayette Square, that all has a feel of a walking space altogether. Closing that slip that is pretty dangerous, just creating a walking area for everybody. And it's really sad because people who live there don't actually use cars, but they get all the pollution.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I mean, I've watched videos here, to count, for our traffic analysis, counting pedestrians. And there are a lot of pedestrians crossing here, along Manhattan Avenue. And this slip lane does represent a danger for a lot of families. So you bring up a really good point, and we're gonna focus on that and try to make it better and safer to walk.
Yeah, they've done it on 72nd Street, how they closed that out and they created an opening to a train station, so it's pretty nice.
Is there a picture of the slip lane? That-
Yeah. So,
I'm visually trying to picture, because when I'm on Manhattan Avenue, I don't walk it a lot. I take the 3 bus, go down Manhattan Avenue. So that's why visually I'm trying to think, and I'll maybe physically walk it.
yeah, let me, if it's okay, I can, pull up Google Maps.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I think we may have, I turned it on.
I will say, just the fact that was mentioned that, what was it, Morningside Avenue funnels into Manhattan, whereas I use the word funnel, once again, I'm visual. You're going from, what is it, 42
22.
to 22, I mean, that's drastic. That's like a problem waiting to happen.
Yeah, so, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties on the,
Put it in the chat.
but you can see here, this, north is towards the right.
Right,
Manhattan Avenue is towards the bottom, and this is the park.
right.
Morningside Avenue, it's got these lanes, north of 114th Street, but between 114th and 113th, it's kind of a little bit of a speedway, from 42 feet wide to 22 feet wide. This is Lafayette Square.
And that's a slip?
Yeah, that's what we call a slip lane.
I don't know if I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Am I?
I see it on my screen.
Yeah, I'm sharing the
Yeah, you know,
the Google
show
Street
her.
view. People online can see it, but we can't see it in the room. There it is.
Oh, this is it now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me take you around.
Is that familiar?
I don't know, this is Morningside Park on the left here. Slowly, you see the playground there, and then that's where it merges.
And one other thing to flag, if you've ever driven down, Morningside, Avenue or Manhattan Avenue, it's a real slog. You're going through a lot of different traffic signals, and part of that is the signal timing at that intersection with Morningside, Manhattan, 113th, and you just gotta wait and wait for all of these different signals to complete.
How's that hand up?
Yeah, April has her hand up. April, go ahead.
Oh, hi, thank you so much. I just wanted to note a couple of things. The first, thank you all so much for coming tonight, of course, as always, but just for the record, wanted to note that when I write the M116, some things I've noticed is that there doesn't often seem like, it seems like sometimes larger buses would be better, because I think because folks shop at that Costco on the east side, you know, they get on there and then it just takes up a lot of space. And of course, a lot of folks with strollers and walkers and the like. And then just to note that it does often seem like from the east side to the west side, the schedule is off a lot. So just wanted to note that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because I thought about Costco as well. Most people are going to Costco on 116th Street. And that by itself is a lot of congestion, so.
And definitely we'll take your comments back to the team and, you know, discuss it.
All right, anyone else? Yeah.
On the first slide, you had the yellow bars going across the pedestrian island. DOTs did that on West End Avenue, about 100 and, I don't know, in the hundreds, down to the 90s, first slide. And those double bars, I mean, I hate them. Because
What double bars?
on the first slide,
Okay, this?
no,
I
no,
think it was the painted median,
painted median, yeah.
slide
Okay.
7, yeah.
7?
That one, yes. What's going on here is that it's nice that the parking lane's really wide. But I would actually prefer that you make it like a slalom through there, which is actually a traffic calming functionality, and get rid of those yellow bars. Pedestrian island's great, but the yellow bars are just, people use it for parking, people use it for going into, when there's a double parked vehicle on the other side. It's not used for what it's intended.
Yeah, that's a really great flag. You know, this project when it came out, it's very successful at reducing, you know, before this project went in, there weren't even crosswalks. But
The crosswalks in the island are fabulous.
yeah, but totally hear you. These types of projects are street improvement projects. They're kind of like a precursor sometimes to a larger capital project. And in a larger capital project, a lot of times the city can utilize those yellow painted spaces for planted medians.
Well, yeah, no, if you had a planted median, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But what I've been seeing is it just used to create pedestrian islands and turn lanes. And it could actually be used to create a slalom. I forget the word, the official word for that. Chicane, that's the word.
That's a really great,
And I would much rather see a chicane than, and a wider parking lane than what you have there. That's just dead space, which is gonna be used by cars for other reasons.
yeah. It's a little bit outside of our project scope, but it's a great piece of feedback that we can take back to our public realm team, to talk about future improvements here.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for all for being here. And we look forward
Thank
to hearing from you guys again.
Sounds good.
All right.
Absolutely. The team will return and Lila and I can follow up on any other questions that you can have. Thanks again for having us.
Thank you. I'm going to go to agency updates and reports. Captain Rose is here, from the 30th precinct, so I'm going to give him the floor. We'd like to update us on anything going on in the 30th.
Good, Okay, good evening. For those of you that don't know me, Captain Gary Rose, Commanding Officer, 30th Precinct. This is our first meeting of 2025 here, right? With the uniform service. So start off by saying thank you. 2024 ended up being a great year for us. We saw crime wise at the end of the year down overall in crime, and we came out of the gate really strong in 2025. Right now, we're down about 30% overall from where we were last year. So I've had the privilege of being here for the entirety of that year. So we saw some things that went right, we saw some things that went wrong. We made a couple of course corrections and we're looking really good right now. No real alarming trends or concerns that I need to update you on, except for we see a little bit of an uptick in property crime, with vehicles. So if you have a car, if you park a car, I would encourage you to reach out to, my office, to my crime prevention officer. He's got some great tips on how to secure your property, your vehicle and the property inside of it. Other than that, we're looking really good and I appreciate all your support. If you have any particular questions, I would answer them unless you want me to wait till the end.
No, I know there was a rash of some, break-ins along Riverside Drive.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, but we've seen success. I kind of had to tweak my deployment a little bit there. We added some, temporary lighting down there for a little while. We added into what we call like a focused, kind of like precision policing type model, where I give my officers very specific instruction and times. We do a very in-depth analysis of when the crimes are actually happening, so that we can maximize the personnel that are on the street when that's happening in the right spots. And, not on wood, like, I don't want to jinx myself, but it seems to be working pretty good. So, the other thing I would encourage along those lines is stuff like that. Don't hesitate to report it to us. What I've seen over the course of the last year, some people just say, it's just a window, I'll get it fixed or whatever, and it goes unreported to us. But what I do, to make my job sound very simplistic, at the chance of belittling my intelligence, is put cops on the dot. So, I get a map with a bunch of dots, this is where the crime is happening, and that lets me know where to put the cops. Less dots, less cops. Every one of those dots is a crime looks like they get reported, so no crime is too little or too big. Everything is information for us, and it lets us do the job more effectively. So, other than that, if you have any questions.
I was wondering if you could just update, the committee on the officers that you had allocated to the precinct, but
Yeah.
then had to be moved.
Yeah, so they're still allocated to the precinct. I spoke about this at the community council meeting, and I think more generally at the general board meeting. But just so everybody's aware, we had, new officers, 12 new officers assigned to the 30th precinct. And fortunately, we don't see the violence that some other neighborhoods do see. And so they've been redeployed for a certain amount of time to address violence in certain other areas in Manhattan. We, like I said, I've had the experience of being here for the entirety of the year. We were doing the job before we had them. We're gonna continue to do the job, while they're kind of like on loan to the more violent area. And then when we get them back, we'll get that extra added layer of community engagement. Because that's really all it was, right? It wasn't affecting 911 response times. It's not reducing the amount of time my officers have to do the work that they have to do. It was just an extra added layer of presence out there and community engagement. So it's not affecting our response, it's not affecting our deployment, but it will be nice to get them back.
I have a question.
Sure.
I've written several reports in 311, double parking on 149th and Convent.
Okay.
That corner is, very disturbing sometimes because you have a whole row of people double parking. And I have brought it up to Solomon many times. I even sent him pictures of that. And, somebody wrote at the front of the building 436 Convent that they were not allowed to park there. This guy double parked his car, looked at the sign, laughed, and went into the. It's very, it's frustrating because, when I've had cars, I park someplace and I get a ticket. But you will see the same car double parked there every day. I've sent you dozens of pictures already, Solomon, and it's a joke for people. And these are old men who have their cars, do not live in the community. They do not live in the community. That's why they double park. It's infuriating that this happened, and they're very rude. Some guy had a double car parked for a minute or two, and this guy was yelling at him straight out. So
Yeah, it's frustrating. I know, the parking issue is frustrating and I appreciate your concern. Have you seen any improvement there though? Because we did have a very productive conversation with the imam from the mosque there.
I'm sorry to tell you, but no, on New Year's Day, there was a fire on 460, on 450, that's 460. And the truck, turned to the left to go on 149, couldn't get through because these guys have gone from here to 149 and they all double park on a straight line. Sundays, it's not a problem. Because people double park, but they move because those congregations don't last very long. And I've seen the traffic agent, this little guy, he's double parked on the fire hydrant on 149. And I'm gonna take a picture of him one day. Last Saturday, he said hello to me. I don't know if he knows me or not, but I was not looking at him and I didn't respond. But next time I'll take a picture of his badge. So
All right,
The traffic enforcement, my understanding is,
Yeah.
is separate from the actual precinct, correct?
Yeah, I don't, traffic, they're part of the NYPD, but not assigned to the 30th precinct, yes, but that, you know, I'm not gonna push blame onto anybody, so we'll take, ownership of it. I'm concerned though, because I did think that the problem there was getting better. So I'm hearing your concern now, I'm gonna go back and speak to them again, because it was my understanding that we came to some sort of amicable resolution with them. But if you're telling me otherwise, I'll go back and speak to
I
them
can
again.
send you the pictures I sent
Yeah,
Solomon.
He's not the only one that
Yeah.
sends it to us, it's a continuous.
So,
They don't care.
so-
They don't care. They don't live in this planet like you do.
Right, so, so this is what I've seen success with is that if you send this information to me,
Okay.
you've heard me say
Sure.
that plenty of times before, because if I don't wanna say I don't see it, but the 311 application in itself gets inundated with a lot of these complaints, right? This is something, you're here, you're sitting physically here, you obviously have a vested interest in this topic that you're talking about. I would rather get that information directly to me so we can correct it.
I live in the building. I see it every day.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We have had very tangible success and quantifiable results with people sending me the problems directly, and we can address it head on, rather than waiting for it to come through 311, or having my cops go there, and maybe they're there, not as timely as we would like because we're on a different priority, something like that, and then by the time they get there, it looks like the problem was resolved. So if you send it to me, I think we can get a little bit of a quicker response there.
I'll send it
Well,
to
you
you.
could send
I-
it to
I
me.
know
Thank you
other-
very much.
Other people that have complained about this said that they put in 311 complaints and they're closed right away.
Yeah.
Meaning like they open it and 5 minutes later it's closed. And they've seen, they don't see anyone taking any action. And they-
Yeah, so a good layer of, like, we'll call it fact checking for lack of a better term, is if you send it to me, it's also gonna come over 311, and then I can see if it's actually being taken care of. A lot of times, I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's all they got me for though, just 24/7. But, with no little leeway there. But, if I'm at home and I see a 311 complaint and I see that it gets closed out, my assumption is that the police officers took care of it. Every once in a while, I get a tip or something like that that says that it wasn't, and then we can correct that and make sure that it's actually being taken care of.
Yeah, Gretchen had her hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I think, Lupe has this too. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much. I've been giving you guys a bit of a hard time about the moving violations, since I joined the board,
Yeah.
and starting in November and December, I definitely saw like some improvement, and that's fantastic. I would still love to see some traction with the overlength vehicles, the 53-foot tractor trailers that come barreling through the neighborhood. I know we've talked about like sometimes it takes special equipment and stuff like that, but most of them have 5-3 written right on the side of them, so
Right,
it shouldn't be too difficult. And again, like, I know it's hard to measure something when a summons isn't issued, but I think sometimes even just pulling the guys over, and even if a summons isn't issued, just reminding them of the traffic law, like, I oftentimes, and I live in the 2-6, but I will stop the truck drivers that are going down, that are cutting across my street, and I try to remind them like, hey, this is not a truck route. If you are not picking up or dropping off on this block, you are not allowed to cut across the street. And they look at me like I have 3 heads, like, lady, why do you know the traffic code? Especially if
Because
they're
you
doing
live
it in front of
there.
officers, right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think like, not everything necessarily has to be about a summons. I think sometimes just like having a conversation is helpful, but it's the 53-foot tractor trailers really grind my gears because they're just advertising, we're breaking the law as they
Right,
come
right,
around.
So I can speak for the 30th precinct, obviously, what you're seeing in the 26th precinct, if we're gonna see it in the
Yeah.
3 also. I have, built a very effective traffic team over the last year. We had people in there that are doing other positions, and I put a couple of young, really motivated officers in there. So I will definitely take the information back to them.
Yeah, no, so thank you for that,
Yeah,
really
no problem.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Felipe?
Yeah, and just a counterpoint, Juan, I did see a little bit of improvement, so maybe it just lapsed. because I think with double parking, as soon as one person starts doing it.
You're talking about.
I'm talking about the location that Juan.
Yeah, it's concerning to me
yeah.
because I thought that we had it solved, so
Yeah,
I moved on, but
I
I
think
will
you
go
just,
back, yeah.
if you just go back,
Yeah.
they definitely responded the first time,
Okay, alright.
and I think that it's just, people forget that you came by, or
Yeah.
people forget that it's the wall, and then they just.
Constant presence is needed, in other words.
Yeah, we'll-
Or maybe
we'll be
every
good.
other month, I don't know.
No, we'll take care of it.
I
This is
noticed,
valuable
I noticed some
information,
slight improvement,
Yeah.
but maybe not long term.
Edwin.
I see Edwin Torres, you have a comment?
Yes, Solomon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, thank you, to the officer. We have an issue here on 142nd in Amsterdam. There is a vehicle that has been here, van, pink, that has been parked here bare minimum 4 months. It hasn't moved at all. You have the sanitation that comes by, everybody moves their car. This stuff has just parked. It has turned to a parking lot for this truck. And we have reported this before. And you have a truck here that has been left for 4 months at the same spot, doesn't move for nothing for the past 4 months. I don't know what we're gonna do about this.
Well.
Tons
we'll
of
take-
ticket it has. The plate, I don't know what state it is. In God we trust. T as in Tom, M as in Mary, Z as in Victor, 7162. It's a quite distinct pink on 142nd northbound. You can't miss it.
What's his name?
Can you repeat the license plate,
Edwin,
Edwin?
give me the license plate one more time.
Thomas, Mary, Zoo,
Z.
7162.
All right, we'll take care of it.
Thank you, officer. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I think it's, North Carolina has the God We Trust,
We'll
right?
go look at it. When we leave here, we'll go look at it. We'll take care of it. That's easy. That's easy stuff. That's why I come to these meetings, because if we can fix that for you,
Yeah.
that's a win for us, so.
Was there anyone else? Yes, sir.
Just, I volunteer at Jenny's Garden, and whatever. It's just, there's no problem there, for winter. It's amazing. So, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, Jenny's Garden's got our attention. You got some real, people down there with some
They're
vested
gone,
interest.
they're
that-
gone.
Yeah. They've,
Oh, the homeless are gone.
yeah, that's been a focus of our attention, so, we'll keep that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Captain Rose. Officer Sumer, anything you wanna add?
Come on, Jeremy, you gotta say something. Say hello.
Captain Spelling, hello everybody, told who I am, Officer Stewart, Community Affairs Officer, 30th Precinct. Captain, pretty much let everything up. This is the time of year where we get to sit down with our stakeholders, learn, things that we missed in the year, so we value everyone's feedback, and as always, anything you guys need, feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you. Anyone had a, yes?
I just have a comment, if you just keep your radar on the corridor, 137th Street and Broadway, the construction in that area. It's like as soon as you slow down in that area, they pop right back up, it's like they're waiting.
Yeah.
So same principle with the, auto break-ins and stuff like that. We had, fixed posts there that we don't have the luxury of having now. So I have my officer doing, spot checks throughout the day.
And what's
physically walking there.
funny that I noticed, cause I take that car and go, there's a lot of homeless and addicts inside and outside of the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if the managers are just afraid to say anything.
So we had a very productive meeting with the management from Dunkin' Donuts. I think they were a little hesitant.
Yeah,
They've since come out of that shell a little bit. We brought them together with the Block Association. They kind of, took them in under their wings. They have a strong voice, and they kind of invited Dunkin' Donuts in. So we got a lot of valuable information from them. And I think that we're gonna be able to move forward in a productive manner, being that we have their involvement now. So, the residents there, the Block Association is very strong. They've got my attention. We're definitely gonna keep the,
Okay.
foot on the gas there for sure.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a quick comment, so something I haven't seen except in old movies,
Sure.
the cars on the milk crates, we've seen
Cars
them
on
a couple
milk crates.
times on comments.
So, yeah, so that's what I kind of, when I opened up and I said there's no real alarming trends except for, property crime from vehicles. Things, what we consider property crime is like that, right? Stealing the rims and tires from a vehicle, stealing the mirrors, catalytic converters, things like that. And it's not to belittle the problem, I don't wanna say I'd rather see that, I'd rather see no crime. But my thing is, I'd rather see that than people getting robbed on the street and things like that. What we're doing about the rims and tires, is we're working with our auto crime division. It's part of a much larger, long-term investigation, is what we would call it, to kind of really get to the bottom of who's doing that. We don't see it as prominent here as some other areas in the city, but we respond to it. So when we see something like that pop up, like I said, the more complaints we get, we see what's going on, and then we focus the cops there. What you'll see is those crimes are happening overnight, so you'll see more of my officers out there, more of a presence on that overnight tour, focused on that. So, yeah, I hope that kind of answered your question. It's something that we haven't seen in a while, but it's kind of coming back into play.
And at least too, we can say with a little pride is they're not selling any of these items in the 3-0 precinct. We'll do spot checks of our auto shops to make sure that they're not selling any stolen items. So at least we can say with confidence that they're not coming here to sell those items.
Yeah, but there are preventative measures. That's what I mentioned. If anybody's interested in that, we put it out on our Twitter page once in a while, and you can always call Stumer's office for the tips, wheel locks, not to leave things in your car, things like that, just as preventative measures that we can take.
Edwin, did you have something else?
Yes, Solomon, for the 2-6 on 141st in Amsterdam, we had a meeting with the tenants for the Hamilton High Tenant Association. And the folks here, they complained that they're always having cars double park on 141st in the northbound, double park on the bike lane. And one of them, got a close call with a car, and they're very upset about that. They've been put in the 301 complaints. I told them that I will come to the community board to bring this up, because here you have the captains showing up. But the folks are complaining that on 141st, you have an increased double park situation in Amsterdam northbound.
Okay, I think Officer Cardenas is on.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for that, sir. I have my notepad here. I just wrote down in 141st Street northbound on Amsterdam Avenue. One of the bicyclists had a close encounter with
Yes, so we had the Hamilton High Town Association. We had a meeting. These are the folks from 470, 140, and 476, 141st. And the folks from the tenant association, they brought it up that, look, they've been reporting it, they're having issues. And one of them said, look, I had a close call, and I was like, I'll come to the community board, because that's where you have, the captains coming in about this issue. And I've seen it myself. You like right now, if you come by, you're gonna see 2 vehicles literally double park on 141st in Amsterdam.
Okay. So I will speak with the executive officer, Captain Moore, and of course with my commanding officer, Deputy Inspector Tavares, as well as with the traffic sergeant. We all work very closely together. I get this information from the community through meetings as such, or in person when I meet people who walk into the precinct. And we have a great traffic team here who they've been doing this, one particular officer, especially for a number of years. And they're very passionate, as we are here in the precinct overall, when it comes to pedestrian safety, bicycle safety, and making sure that the rules of the road, as best as possible, everyone is abiding by them. And so I will get this information out to particularly the traffic team, so we can address that, and also the supervisor at the moment, because you're saying that if we take a drive over there now, we'll also encounter some double parked vehicles?
Absolutely, you will.
Okay, so that's something we look forward to continuously addressing.
And I'll call the precinct, because you guys had the Sector C for Charlie. I don't know who's in charge of that. I would like to invite him to our next, meeting with the Hamilton High, so they can hear firsthand from them too.
Fabulous, yes. So if you would just please give me an email address so I can go ahead and give that, or a good contact number, however, you're most comfortable with, so I can go ahead and give Sector NCO Charlie this information, and so they can have this opportunity to speak to the Hamilton Heights Tenant Association. I think
Thank you.
that'd
We put the TA email out. Thank you very much.
be- Okay, perfect. All right,
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Officer Cardenas. Officer Stewart, anything with the liquor licenses, any complaints there? Everything's good, okay? I guess we can let you guys go. Thank you all for
Thank
joining
you
us.
guys, have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a
Good
good
night, everybody. Be safe out there.
Be safe tonight. Good night, good night.
Oh, okay.
Officer Cardenas, you're up next.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to share with us in particular?
Yes, so I just, again, you know, there comes it isn't a pattern, but there was a vehicle a couple days ago that the rims and the tires were removed from the vehicle, and let me just read here, I have it noted. This happened Wednesday, February 5th, and it was on Amsterdam Avenue, West 122nd Street. So I just want all of our community members just to be reminded, and myself included, you know, sometimes we're rushing out of our vehicle, and the 30th precinct did touch on this. We may leave something that catches the eye. Again, unfortunately, this is something that it stops for a little bit and then it comes back. So I just wanted motorists, or if we have family, you know, make sure that if just to watch their vehicles. We have some people who park extended periods, you know, if it's street cleaning Tuesday and Friday, then obviously, you know, then Wednesday and Thursday and until Friday morning, they'll come back for their car, but it's a good idea to check on your vehicles. Okay. So I just wanted to go over our 28-day period, which what I usually like to do for December 30th to January 26th. And it's, of course, a year-to-date 2024 versus 2025. And so we have for murder, 0 last year versus 0 this year. We have a reported rape, which was 1 in 2024 versus 2 for 2025. And robbery, we have 10 last year versus 9 this year. The felony assaults, last year was 14 versus 10 this year for this time period. Our burglaries were 3 last year versus 4 this year. And our grand larcenies, which was 21 last year versus 17 this year. And then our grand larceny autos were 1 versus 1. So we're down 43 versus 50 for the crime classifications that I just mentioned.
Great, thank you so much for that update. Any questions, Officer Cardenas? Any questions for her? I don't see any questions. In terms of the liquor licenses, Officer Cardenas, I did get your email that you were okay with all the, whether it was new or renewal. Any comments on any of those that were coming up for discussion?
No comments. And we're okay with them.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I hope you have a good night. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Thank you.
All right, is PSA 6 still on? I saw them earlier.
Hi, I'm still here.
Hi, how are you? Sorry to keep you waiting.
It's okay, no worries. Hi, everyone. I'm Officer Wilborn, PSA 6 Community Affairs Officer. I have the numbers for the 28 days, so we're gonna start with January 6th to February 2nd, 2025. We took 1 rape in Manhattanville. We had 2 robberies. Both of them were DV related. 1 in Grant, 1 in Manhattanville. We took 6 assaults. Of the 6 assaults, 5 of them were DV related. The one that was not domestic related happened in Manhattanville, and it was a dispute over a drug transaction. The CV was hit in the head with a crowbar and removed to the hospital. We had 3 grand larcenies. 2 took place in Grant, 1 took place in Manhattanville, and as Officer Cardenas mentioned, there was a car where all 4 tires and rims were removed from the car. And then the other 2 grand larcenies that we had, 1 was fraudulent charges on a card when the person still had their card in their possession. So I always encourage people to get those cases where you could block your card, so that way someone walking by with one of those machines can't just like take your information off of the card. And then the other one was someone's credit account was open and they used the person's name without permission and they ran up the person's account about $6,000. So we're down in crime in housing in the 2-6. And those are the numbers for the 28-day. Our community council meeting is going to be February 13th, just in case anyone wants to come. It starts at 7 o'clock. And we give out a lot of valuable information, a lot of information for our seniors. And we also have our crime prevention officer come. So that way they could give out some helpful tips and pointers to our residents. Other than that, that's all we got.
Thank you so much.
Can
You're
we
most
ask,
welcome.
can I ask it back up again? So
Yeah.
go back to credit cards and they were able to scan the card while it was in their pocket?
Yes, so there were fraudulent charges on the person's card, and what they were explaining to us was that they still had their card in their possession. So it wasn't like it was a lost card. It wasn't like they put it down somewhere. It was on the person's person. So a lot of times this happens maybe at gas stations where somebody might go by you and they must have some sort of device where it's pulling that card information off and the person never even used their card.
They use a skimmer,
Yeah, skimmer.
Yeah.
No, she said
It
that
happens a
the
lot.
person's in possession of the card, so
Yes.
somehow they're to walk
Yeah,
by.
you can buy them, it's sad that I know this, you can buy like an Amex gift card, prepaid gift card with like $1 on it. And then you can reprogram it, the magnetic strip uses somebody else's information. So if they dipped their card in one of the places that has a skimmer, that electronic information is in there, and now they can apply it to the gift card that only has $1 on it, so the charge goes back to the person who still has their card. I only know that's what happened to me.
Oh, wow. Yes.
The person was basically saying they were at work when these charges were put on their card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I recently saw, a bunch of these RFID credit card cases for sale. I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
But now I know it's exactly to prevent what she's talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, officer.
You're most
Appreciate it.
welcome.
You have a good night and be
Thank
safe
you,
out
you
there.
too. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone from Transit District 3 on? I didn't get a confirmation from the captain, so, I guess he's not on. Lyle, are you still on?
Still here.
Hi, Lyle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Anything you want to share with us?
Nothing too major. Just wanted to thank everyone again for listening to our presentation just now. And this is the start of what we hope will be a continuing conversation regarding bus priority and traffic safety improvements along 116th Street. Again, if you have any additional questions or suggestions, please let me or the community board know. And Victor can send those suggestions and comments to me. I just had one other quick thing. Victor came to meet with me and my colleagues recently in DOT's Manhattan Borough Commissioner's office downtown. He met with me, Jennifer, who just met the Deputy Manhattan Borough Commissioner, and Manhattan Borough Commissioner for DOT, Ed Pinkar. We talked about a few general items regarding infrastructure throughout the district. And we're going to set up a few walkthroughs in the next couple of weeks to check out some of the major corridors and intersections within the district and to see if any improvements can be made, ideally to the signal timing at major intersections. Victor had a few other items you wanted DOT to follow up on, so I'll be in touch with him and Aoife soon to start putting some dates in the calendar. And if anybody from the community board wants to join us, for those intersection walkthroughs, by all means, it's something I did pretty much with CB11 a couple years ago. We had some concerns about major intersections and major corridors throughout their district. So me and a few of my colleagues from DOT's intersection control unit, the folks that handled the signals and the signal timing citywide. We went pretty much and took one major corridor, say once every couple of weeks, and just went all through the district, north, south, east, and west, and pretty much saw in real time how the streets were operating and if any potential signal timing upgrades or improvements might be warranted. With the folks that pretty much handled that for the city. So it led to some good outcomes as far as just traffic and safety improvements. Just a little bit of an increased speed for vehicles, at least in East Harlem. So I offer the same olive branch to CB9 just to see if we can get some of those things happening in your district. So like I said, I'll be in touch with Youth and Victor soon, and we'll start getting some walkthroughs and some dates in the calendar. And that's it for me. Just wanted to thank everybody again. Like I said, and as you heard, the presentation that you heard today, we're going to have also with CVs 10 and 11 next week for their respective corridors along 116th Street. So we'll be continuing the conversation pretty much for the next couple of months and come back with the formal presentation at some point. So we'll be in touch with that about that once it's ready and formalized. Thanks again.
Right, thank you, Lyle. Any questions for Lyle?
Quick question, Lyle, Chris, do you have, maybe I misunderstood, do you have any dates on the intersection walkthroughs? Any proposed dates, or has it not been decided yet?
Not decided yet, but I'll definitely be in touch with the community board to start putting some dates in the calendar. And like I said, anybody from the committee who is interested in joining us, like I said, by all means, feel free. But we'll definitely put some dates in the calendar soon.
I have a question. That was one of my questions. The other question is, when you're talking about major intersections, we're talking about foot traffic and driving traffic as well?
It could be both. It can be both. DOT is pretty much open to any and all walkthroughs, whether it's for pedestrian safety, vehicular safety. This one in particular that I was mentioning or describing was with our signals division. So again, the folks that pretty much deal with vehicular traffic. It can also impact pedestrian traffic as well, depending on leading pedestrian intervals, potentially maybe barn fences, that sort of thing. So it's any and all encompassing, but anything that you guys would want to have a walkthrough on or about, we can always set up a time to check out the particular location or corridor if necessary. It's no problem.
All right, thank you.
Hmm?
All right, thank you, Lyle. Okay, nothing else for Lyle? Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to liquor license applications, action items. We do have quorum. You heard from Officer Stumer and Officer Cardenas about the liquor licenses. There are quite a number of new and renewal, mostly renewal liquor licenses. The two new ones, the first one is Greek Symposium Restaurant. This is 544 West 113th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. I see there's a typo here. It should be the 26th precinct. WBC means wine, beer, and cider. That's what they're.
They haven't had a liquor license?
They've had that for 2 decades.
Yeah, I don't know. On the form itself, it says new, and it said TRP, like temporary retail permit. I was surprised by that as well, but I think it may be an ownership change, and that's why they have to classify it as new.
So, Solomon, I just.
Well, wouldn't they have that on the form?
It was not on the form.
So I thought, starting like October, Victor brought up the issue that we would have access to the forums. The owners would be invited, there were to be permits posted.
We're still working on that process. All the liquor license applications are in the Google Drive folder. If you go to January 2025 liquor license applications, all of them are there. They've all been scanned.
So I did try to do it and it said I would have to request access.
Yeah, I think.
And little of an issue, we got this at 4:30 today.
Correct. Yes. Yes, it shouldn't have taken that long. No, I agree, but something where we have to work on.
Who are we?
I think it's both the district office getting response back from NYPD, and then finally putting it on the agenda and out. So it's all three parties involved.
We're still missing,
The other problem is that because we didn't have a January meeting, everything got just thrown into one pile.
and we're still missing Madison, right?
And yes, we are still missing Madison, yes.
Yes, we're working on that.
Yeah.
The executive board.
The second establishment was Trujillo, Coffee Shop LLC, 1685 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, 10031. This is between 143rd and 144th, 30th precinct, and they are just looking for wine, beer, and cider.
Hey, I have my hand up. It's April here. I had a question about that because that's the Ecuadorian restaurant, right? Equatoriana?
No, that
The address
Equatorial
is,
on the corner.
Yeah.
well, the address shows that that's what it was. So that's what my question was. I was a little confused, but
Good question. Good catch, April.
so you're not sure, yeah, what,
1687 is Ecuatoriana restaurant.
okay,
So
so,
maybe it's a change. We can hold off on these and take a look more closely at the forms.
I think there's also maybe a typo with BNT. That their liquor as well. And on the form, I don't see any of the boxes checked. But maybe that's just how the scan came through.
Yeah, or maybe just understand.
But they most definitely sell liquor there.
Okay. We'll make sure we know that.
Yeah, and I would like them to continue to.
Right.
Something, yes, okay.
So what,
Yeah, absolutely.
how does the committee want to handle the new liquor license?
Solomon, I think it's kind of hard for us to vote on something that we don't know about. And with regard to symposium, we have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
So I'd recommend that we put that off until we have full intelligence.
Sure.
and I'll second that. It looks, well, just a quick Google search. It looks like Tigrillo Coffee is Ecuadorian. So it must be the same restaurant. If that's an assumption now, but.
Right. Well, we'll try to get that clarified then. So I would propose that we table these two until we find out some more information.
I talked to the waiter, he's been there for decades. He told me, my friend, I played tennis with him. He was the owner of Symposium, he sold the place.
Yeah, it looks like they
New
changed the name of their
ownership changes
LLC,
things.
yeah.
It's not as good as it was, though.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so, anyone second the tabling of the new liquor license application so we get more information?
I'll second it.
Okay, I will try to dig up the information and email the committee before the executive board meeting.
But also it's interesting because I
Evan wrote a note and Lisa has her hand up, sorry.
Yes, Solomon, can you just refresh my memory? These applications, you're saying that you have not received a copy of the questionnaire?
No, the question is that, for Greek Symposium Restaurant, it was designated as a new liquor license. And, Ted had said that this was a place that had been serving liquor for many years. So we're wondering why it's new, why it's classified as new. And we're theorizing that it may be a change of ownership, but we're not. certain.
Okay.
And then the second place, the Grillo Coffee Shop, that, there was another place another establishment by the name of Equatoriana. So it was in that location. And this is also a new application with a different name, so we don't know if it's also a name change, so this is something we'd have to look into.
Okay, so if you can shoot Hakil an email and CC me, and we will definitely look into that tomorrow. So are those the only two that are being tabled until?
Well, we only got through the new ones so far, we're still on the renewals.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry, I just joined.
No problem, no problem. Okay, the first, so going to the renewals, the first one is the Chick Inn, 3508 Broadway, between West 143rd and West 144th Street. This is in the 30th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with this one?
Edwin wrote something in the chat.
Right. Yeah, but this is committee business. Okay, second one, Brisa Dominicana Restaurant Corporation, 1764 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, 13031, between 147 and 148th Street, 30th precinct. Wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with this one? No, okay. Third one, 1274 Amsterdam Trattoria Incorporated, 1274 Amsterdam Avenue. This is between 122nd and 123rd in the 26th precinct, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with this?
Nope.
Just to the.
Okay, the fourth one, Modo Nostro LLC, AKA Bar 314. This is on 3143 Broadway, between LaSalle and Tiemann Place, 26th precinct. They serve liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with this one? Nope. Okay, next, number 6 is V&T Restaurant, 1024 Amsterdam Avenue. This is between 110th and 111th Street. This is under the 26th precinct. And we're going to check if it is liquor, wine, beer, and cider, but on the form, it just showed wine, beer, and cider.
Well, in the form, I don't see.
Is that, you are saying a new or a renewal?
This is a renewal. This is a renewal.
Okay,
Yeah, the question in number 11, beer and cider, wine, beer, cider, liquor, wine, beer, cider, it does not appear that there's.
Okay. Okay, any issues with B&T besides that?
Did you say 5? AVI?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped 5. Number 5, AVI Food Systems Incorporated. This is a catering establishment at 500 Riverside Drive, between 123rd Street and LaSalle, 26th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider.
that's the International House.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, so I'm going to number 7. This is 2846 Broadway, Food Service Corp., AKA Community Food and Juice at 2893 Broadway, between 112th and 113th in the 26th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider.
No problem.
Any issues with Community Food and Juice?
Nope.
No, okay. Number 8, Rye Ken Corporation, 1467 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, 10027, between 132nd and 133rd Street, 26th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with Rye Ken? Nope. Okay, next, number 9, Scion Enterprises LLC, AKA Scion Cafe, 763 St. Nicholas Avenue, between 148th and 149th, 30th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with Scion?
No issues, but isn't that Padmore's restaurant?
Yes, it is, Sajid.
Okay, number 10, Masawa Restaurant Corporation, 1239 Amsterdam Avenue, between 120th and 121st in the 26th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with Masawa?
Nope.
You thought you have your hand up?
Oh, no, that's a legacy. I'll take it down. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, next 11, Festici Restaurant Corp., 125 LaSalle, between Claremont and Broadway, 26th precinct. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any issues with Pastici? Number 12, Dame Tavern Incorporated, AKA The Cracksman, 3155 Broadway. This is between LaSalle Street and Teeman Place. 26 precinct, liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Anything for The Craftsman? Any objections? No? Okay. Number 13, DMC LLC, AKA Dear Mama, 611 West 129th Street, between Broadway and 12th Avenue. 26 precinct, liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Any objections for Dear Mama? Okay, number 14, the trustees of Columbia University, Ferris Booth, 2920 Broadway. This is on the northeast corner of Broadway and 114th Street, 26 precinct, liquor, wine, beer, and cider.
I have an issue with the trustees of Columbia.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I mean, they have this gate over 116th Street that they have kept closed. They're not playing fair.
I don't know if it merits, blocking a liquor license.
I don't know if it merits, but like, they like, you know.
What against the?
I'm not opposed to it.
I mean, they're blocking our access for something that's unrelated.
Why should we green light this?
Why
Yeah.
are we, I'm just raising the issue, like.
No, I agree, I wouldn't vote for them in any way.
My understanding is they have no violations.
Right,
with
right,
regards
no,
to
no,
the
we can be of good faith, we can take the high road, I'm just saying that like, I would like to state that into the record that they're not.
What are they gonna do, get mad?
Yeah.
I don't care, I'm not voting for it. I didn't wanna
We're
be
trying
the
to play
first
nice,
one
we're
to
trying to
say
play
it.
nice. All right, so we finished renewals.
No
the-
objections to the renewals?
No objections to the renewals.
Thank you.
Except for that one,
The next two are corporate changes.
Solomon, except for that one.
You haven't, you,
Yes,
okay,
I am.
so do you wanna vote on it? We have to
Yes,
vote on it.
let's do it.
Okay, we're voting on number 14. The trustees of Columbia University, Ferris Booth, 2920 Broadway. This is on the northeast corner of Broadway and West 114th Street. Liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Is anyone against the renewal of this liquor license? We have one, we have two, we have three. Okay, so Gretchen, Juan, and Felipe. Anyone for to renew the liquor license?
Yes, Ted.
We have Ted, Chris, Michael, and myself. That's four.
I'm
So-
going to abstain. I don't know if I can even give
You,
a.
you can't vote.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
That's
So-
Chairman has three.
So we have it by simple majority, 4-3. So it passes.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, now for corporate changes and informed changes. We received a notice from Argo Enterprises Incorporated, AKA Larista Italian Kitchen and Bar, 142 Hamilton Place, between 143rd and 144th, 30th precinct. They are removing a principal. So there used to be two principals, for this, establishment. Now there is only one.
So you mean they have become unprincipled?
Well, there's just one now. There used to be
I
two.
was giving you a pun.
They're unprincipled.
I wanna go back to the Ferris thing, I don't think they even serve alcohol. I'm sure that's just like staff or something.
It's a.
So they can have parties.
University event. Okay, number 2 is Clove Indian Restaurant Incorporated, 1592 Amsterdam Avenue. This is between 138th and 139th in the 26th precinct. They, had to inform us that they were adding a sidewalk area. That's what this is. Any issues with either of these corporate changes or informed changes?
Motion to approve both?
Yes, motion is approved. Very excited about Clove adding the sidewalk area.
Okay, great, all right, so we're done with liquor licenses, next, old business. I don't know if Lyle's still on.
No, he lied.
This is something that, Victor had asked me to put on. This is the 145th Street St. Nicholas Task Force. I think there's supposed to be another walkthrough coming up. Yutha, I don't know if there's, any follow-up there, but I know it's something that, Victor is keeping his eye on. The 145th Street corridor.
Oh, I don't know about a walkthrough, but I'll find out, yes.
Okay. All right, next, Patrick's on the Hill, temporary retail permit. We did get some feedback, I think over New Year's, there was a very loud event there that went into the wee hours of the night. And there were a lot of noise complaints. So, we just wanted to make sure that, the committee knew of this, because, there were some issues with that particular establishment.
I was gonna chime in on that feedback. There's also been some 311 calls prior to that requiring, NYPD, but we just raised it.
Okay, go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, yes, Solomon. So we do have, it's not only on that night. That night was literally a living hell for the tenants here. And we have complaints that have happened after that. The establishment continues to negate the existence of the tenants that are neighboring with him, and that is a problem because folks have been living here for prior to that establishment. The other is that this building does not have a CFO, so the establishment cannot tell you how many people safely can be in there because they don't have a CFO. That's a problem because the CFO tells you how many people can safely be in a place, and I don't understand why SLA will grant any liquor license to an establishment that cannot provide you the number of people that can safely be there. I don't think we have to wait for a catastrophe to happen like it has happened in the past. So many issues beyond just beyond the noise, but the noise, we have 311 complaints that are post that one event on the 31st.
So Edwin, I will reach out to you. I have the New York State, SLA area, division director's contact information, in terms of complaints. So you can put in a formal complaint regarding this. I will send you the information after the meeting.
Thank you, will do, because the tenants here, they I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much air from you guys, but we have a guy that his wife was there, Romero, and she wants to come and talk to you guys again, but she wants her to be out. That night, Homero had to work 2 shifts at Columbia. He had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning until midnight. And he couldn't go to sleep until 4 o'clock in the morning, be up by 5 so he can be at Columbia. At around 3 p.m., he called his wife telling him, I feel like I'm going to pass out. That shouldn't happen to nobody. I don't care what your income is. If you're from this community, everybody deserves respect. So thank you. I will follow up with them and with you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Edwin. All right, I'm gonna get back to the proposed bike lane proposal, but, number 4, noise issues with billiards and bar. This is, 3428 Broadway. So it's come to our attention, youth is aware of it. We received an email, from tenants in that building that live over it, that they still are hearing noise and feeling vibrations from this, establishment. It started, it was better and started getting worse, during the holidays and now on the weekends. And I know that they reached out to the Office of Nightlife, to try to get some help there. We've brought it to Captain Rose's attention again. I know Youth is doing what she can on her end to try to, put some pressure on, getting them to, comply and be more neighborly. But I just wanted to make sure the committee was aware of this issue.
I know, not that you know the answer to this, but why would they not bring an S-part action? This is warranty of habitability, so why not bring the landlord into court? Their responsibility, they're paying rent. Their responsibility is not to manage the bar. That's the landlord.
Yeah, supposedly the landlord is pretty absentee and has not taken their call.
S-part. Let S-part get a default judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, may I, Chair?
Sure, go ahead.
And this is, one of the way the landlords now, they're weaponizing noise to try to get tenants out. These are folks, if you see, they are rent stabilized and because they're paying their rent, you make the living condition literally a living hell. Noise is used to torture people. And these noises, they do create a lot of stress on the folks who literally cannot escape their home. They're not choosing to go there and listen to the music and leave when they want. This is something that I think we should pay more attention to, because landlords, they don't pay attention to unless you're paying them, $5,000-6,000 for that apartment.
Right, yes, Mike.
I just want to say, so just take this with a grain of salt and don't get litigation happening. But if it's a serious situation like this, you can go to the New York Attorney General's office and they have a legal obligation to look into the case. Now, I'm not saying to do this for every single thing, but if it's like an actual problem, short of like, hey, I want to sue this person, but I don't have the means to do it, you can ask the state to jump in on your behalf. They have to look into it.
Yes, Mark.
My building has, I've called the city repeatedly about the certificate of occupancy. Because the basement has, in the certificate of occupancy, there's supposed to be nobody in the basement. You get me?
Right.
And the HPD comes, walks into that basement, they're not allowed to go in. And they post papers and the landlord doesn't open the door. And then he refuses. So you can take him to court, but HPD, if you go to my building, I'll send you the link. If you go to my building, it says certificate of occupancy and it says sold or something like that. Because somebody put that claim in. But if there's no enforcement, there's nothing you can do. But I will look into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're also looking into nuisance abatement. So it's a multi-agency initiative to kind of combat.
Cause they're paying rent and he's making a lot of money. Yeah.
Just a little bit of an issue. When you say we, who are we?
Meaning, so the tenants have reached out to Councilman Abreu in his office. They also reached out to the Manhattan Borough President's office. They reached out to Yutha and Victor as well as the chairs of the committee. So, when we received this email, we tried to escalate things on our end. Just let the captain know, like, this is going on, and tenants were saying that they put in 311 complaints, and the 311 complaints were being closed automatically. Or officers would show up, they would turn the music down for 20-30 minutes, and then it just goes right back up. So,
I think the EDP was also looking into some noise complaints. It might be helpful.
DEP.
Yeah,
yeah, supposedly DEP has been there to check the soundproofing, but I don't know what type of tests they do.
Mr. Chair, when I was the chair for the Health and Environmental, they were found to be in violation by DEP.
Yeah, supposedly the owner had put some money into improving the soundproofing in that space, but it doesn't seem like it's enough.
Adequate.
Yeah, it's adequate. At least based on the decibel of noise and.
It's a continued problem.
Yeah, it's a continued problem. Okay, we gotta move on. Number 3 is the proposed bike lane proposal. Felipe, you wanna take it away?
Sure, yeah, let me share a screen. So it's actually, we got a 2-for-1. One is actually the vote for the presentation I had last meeting. So I will have a quick presentation on that. This is the protected bike lane on West 155th. I'm gonna go through this really quickly. So West 155th Street is a gap in the existing bicycle network. There is, I've worked with other people in this community to come up with a request for a protected bike lane on West 155th between Broadway and Edgecombe. It would help connect these gaps, and it's a distance of only 1,671 feet. There are multiple safety benefits of bike lanes for all road users. This is compiled with DOT data. West 155th Street is 60 feet wide. It could be combined with improvements for the VX 6, it's a SBS bus. West 155th Street is a dangerous corridor. There was a fatality there last year on St. Nicholas and 155th of a speeding minivan, that killed the driver rammed, the car into a cyclist and the cyclist perished. It's not, so here's the argument, that this street is not a high traffic volume street. The data support this. It is 5,000 AADT on one way and 5,000 in the other way. It's not a heavily trafficked street. So 2 lanes, 2 travel lanes it means that it's overbuilt. Low traffic volumes, there are not that many registered vehicles, passenger vehicles in the zip code. Yet there are more than 50 crashes a year. The BX6 carries way more passengers than any amount of cars could. And meanwhile, we have a lot more cyclists in the area that it's climbing. We have a bunch of city bike docks in the corridor, and people use them daily for commuting and riding. And then this is on the border of CB9 and CB12, and I've gone in person to CB12. I made this same exact presentation. They broadly support PBLs. They broadly support this bike lane. I was there this Monday, spoke with their committee chair, with their committee co-chair. They're also interested in improving the safety around this area. There are other stakeholders and partners. None of these stakeholders have opposed it. And then I've reached out to our elected officials. So the office of our council member, Sean Abreu, expresses support for this resolution that we're going to vote on today. And the 2 folks that are running against him also have their support of this resolution. Fully support reducing traffic violence and promoting safe streets. And Tiffany Khan, who was on the community board, wrote to me and said she's going to enthusiastically support this resolution. So this is in the New York City Streets Plan. We have to, New York City has to put out these protected bike lanes. That is written into our law. And this is what I got from DOT, right? They are committed to installing 50 miles of standard bike lanes and 30 miles of protected bike lanes each year. And the Manhattan Board Commissioner, he said, please consider reaching out to your local community board and elected officials. So I'm just doing what I'm being told here, and I'm presenting this to all of you. And I would love to have a vote today.
Did you run this by Lyle, just out of curiosity, and what was the take?
Did I run this by Lyle? I've sent him emails about protected bike lanes.
This one, 155th?
Not this one in particular.
Okay.
No.
Is he still on?
No, he left.
Do you have the resolution?
Yeah, I can share the resolution.
I was just gonna say that there's all this protected area on Harlem, River Drive that is very safe to bike up and down, but nothing to the left to hit the riverside. So it makes a lot of sense, but it also, it behooves the city to create links, because if you have everything broken down, it's very hard to go east-west if you're on a bike.
Yeah, so this, this is why we're doing this, to remind the city that it's their duty. And we're just, the community board is just an advisory, plays just an advisory role. And, we're advising them to pay attention.
Because we use it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, motion for a vote on this resolution that, Felipe has presented before. He's sharing it on the screen right now. I don't think there's been any changes as far as I know. Who is for the resolution? Committee members for the resolution? I have 1, 2, 3.
I am as well.
6, 7, April, Ted?
Ted, yes.
Ted, yes, okay, so that's 8, that's unanimous.
Anybody opposed?
Anybody opposes, anyone objecting to this protected bike lane resolution on 155th Street? No. All right, it goes to executive board next week. So let me ask Victor if you can come and present it. If not, I'll do the best job I can, but more than likely. Okay, thank you, Felipe.
Okay, I got one more that's gonna be real quick. This is not a vote, this is just a presentation. I presented it at Landmarks. This is the.
The multi.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I should have put it down.
No, it's all right. It's just a presentation. We really don't have to discuss tonight. I know it's 8:19. I'm gonna power through it. So this is enhancing access to Riverside Park. This is a similar concept, repurposing excess lane. Just a little bit of the history of the Henry Hudson Parkway. So this was, originally it was Riverside Drive, then Robert Moses widened it, created another parallel. Thank you, April. We'll see you next time. We had to, there was another widening, there was another parallel stretch of the Henry Hudson Parkway. At one point in the 1970s, they wanted to expand it to take 4 lanes from the George Washington Bridge down to the center of Manhattan and convert it into an interstate grade expressway, allowing commercial vehicles. And they would have taken part of Riverside Park. So this is the history of automobile dominance in the previous century, that they were willing to take chunks of Riverside Park. Fortunately, the community stood up against this, and so I would like to thank previous advocates for doing that in the past. That being said, there's one exit on a northbound exit 12 that has 2 travel lanes. It hugs Riverside Park. It's wide, it's 2 lanes. The lanes do not carry that much traffic. It is 6,000 annual average daily traffic. The previous exit, the one that comes off at 96th Street, that one is 7,800. And that is only 1 travel lane and it handles it just fine. So we got excess asphalt on the street, on this portion of the exit, and it could be repurposed. This is what I'm proposing that we talk about, that we discuss with our friends at Parks, with our friends at Department of Transportation, and see if it can be repurposed to a low speed vehicle travel lane. It's about 0.6 miles. We would need physical barriers like a Jersey barrier. This has been done already, and I have some slides in the front, coming up on the Henry Hudson Bridge and on the Brooklyn Bridge and on the Washington Bridge between the Bronx and Washington Heights. So they can be repainted, you can repurpose the traffic signals, and you can narrow the exit ramp. So this is what makes a barrier safe. Here on the left is the Washington Bridge, you have a barrier and a fence. And here on the Henry Hudson Bridge, you just have a barrier, no fence. And on the Washington Bridge, I would like to say that there was a fatality before this concrete barrier and fence was put in, but after that, there have been 0 fatalities. Emergency services are not impacted negatively by this. They can take the lane. We can have an opening to actually have emergency vehicles take the slow lane and actually bypass any congestions. Also, when we think of congestion, what is the congestion? It's other vehicles, so other vehicles can get out of the way. Why is this important? This is the entry, this is what we have. This is what the north end of Riverside Park has. This is the type of access. We just have steps and we have Claremont Avenue, which is one way, and we don't have a level entrance at the north side of Riverside Park. Yes, there's a cherry walk by the Hudson River, but we know that closes periodically. Why can't we have more? Is there really a good reason to prevent us from having more park access? The benefits are huge. You could have vehicle access for Parks Department vehicles, we could have pedestrian access, we could have cost saving of less asphalt to maintain, we have some redundancy in the cherry walk, and we can connect we can better connect Morningside Heights to the Hudson River Greenway. These are some of the vehicles. People are already walking on this path. This is what's called a desire line path, where people do not care if it's been asphalted or not. We move where we need to go. That is the human condition. So what I'm proposing would be safer, would be cheaper, and would be increased access to the park, which would make us healthier. The population.
Yes.
The other thing I think that might be used, great job.
Yeah.
Great job. That would be a proposed benefit is like the second to last slide where you showed the entrance. There have been a number of collisions there where cars are coming off the Henry Hudson at too high a speed. And so having a more narrow lane, we know.
Yes, yeah. So we've been struggling to figure out how to slow down traffic. We know we've thought of like, oh, maybe like a speed bump is good, but also what is better is to narrow the lanes. It's actually more effective, it's actually cheaper. More material goes into a speed bump than narrowing the lanes.
Right.
So it's, easier.
Yeah, so I think that's another proposed or great benefit.
Did you get any clarification on whether that road is owned by New York City DOT or New York State DOT?
We believe it's owned by New York City.
No, it's not
DOT.
believed, it is owned by New
Okay,
York City.
Ira's done a lot of the legwork.
I contacted the state DOT office and they told me it's city DOT, which I thought was wacko.
But it's
true.
it's, so when you look it up, like the actual Henry Hudson Parkway is owned by MTA, New York City DOT, New York State DOT, the Port Authority, and there's some other entities that own part of it, because it was built in segments. So naturally, it's gonna be owned by different.
Is there a way to, I think one of the things I have a little bit of confusion with is a map or pathway, what the expected flow would look like?
Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah, I don't know if I can share.
Yeah, that overhead maybe,
Yeah, that might be useful.
because that was from Google Maps. But the idea of this is also that it actually might improve emergency vehicle access. Because if there's a collision northbound or southbound, you don't have, if you're in a truck, fire truck or ambulance, you don't have to face on the oncoming truck cars. And you're using a wide lane.
Or even emergency vehicles accessing the park. I've had to call ambulances down to the
Right.
park and they like don't know how to get into
right.
the park. They don't know how to get
Yeah.
there.
Right,
In the
this
middle
could be
level.
another proposed benefit that,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody's having a medical incident in the park, an ambulance can reach it much faster.
Yeah.
Also, people with strollers, you know, steps you could go up.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
People,
Yeah.
well, you know, they use wheelchairs, people that use walkers, there's, yeah.
So, but, you said you did present this at Parks already?
I presented at Park, yeah.
Okay, and
So-
how was their reception to you?
You know, because it straddles DOT and parks, you know, it's sort of like, where does it belong? But they were, I mean, they wanna hear more, they wanna hear from the city agencies, like, again, we're just.
DOT and parks, right?
Yeah,
I know that, committees have had joint, they can do a joint resolution.
Yeah.
So this may be an opportunity.
Yeah, I think Heather, is Heather still on? I saw her.
She was like,
Who did you that?
oh, yeah, she is.
Heather, would you like to comment on how it was received yesterday, 2 days ago? Yes, or yesterday, sorry. I think the party.
Yes, it was well, sorry. Yes, it was well received and we just need a little more collaboration and a little more research between the agencies.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
definitely, I think it should be a joint effort between both of our teams. I think it was important for the parks to hear how it might be beneficial to access to the parks. And that's why it was important for them to present at our committee meeting last night. So thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Heather, for allowing me to present yesterday.
Okay. Great, so you'll continue working on
Yes.
this? And, we'll make sure it's on the agenda for the upcoming meetings. Okay, new business, Gretchen, you wanna talk about new, electric vehicle?
Yeah,
chargers?
Is it possible to like link to at least the articles just so you guys can see the
Yeah.
image?
You want me to do it?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm not
I
connected.
can, oh, you know.
Or I'm not, I'm on the thing, but I'm not set to present. I just wanted to bring to everyone's
I just made
attention.
you call, so.
Okay. This article, about EV chargers that are coming. And, sorry, I'm pulling out your phone now. Was not prepared to do this, sorry. About EV chargers that are coming, and the majority of the article is talking about the procurement process, which doesn't really impact us. But I feel like EV chargers are going to be inevitable. And so I just wanted to get it kind of on our radar, and perhaps we can sort of get in front of the issue instead of it being told down to us where they're going from DOT, and then we have to fight back. We can start to identify areas of where we think that they would make sense and not make sense. I mean.
I think we're gonna have to defer some of this. We'll be here until 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So some of them are just quick updates, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, just a comment on the EV charger sites, maybe they could be placed on like, commercial parking areas.
Yeah, so you see here, here's a rendering of one of the companies that's, like I said, the procurement process is a little bit sketchy, but, even though they tried to make these look a little bit decorative, I don't think they're, I think once we all get down to it, people would have
Right.
issues with them being in front of their building. But just something to have on our radar.
Yeah. You've been here and an eye out on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess my concern from that too was that the community board was not really consulted when the 5G kiosks started to go in, and then there was a big outrage. So I kind of don't want us to get flat-footed on it. So I'll continue to monitor it and see how it progresses, but going to bring it to everyone's attention.
Okay. Thank you, Gretchen. Next is the community feedback on the proposed DOT neighborhood loading zones. That's due by the end of this week. I shared it with the team via email based on the feedback that we got from that meeting on the 22nd of January. Hopefully you all got a chance to look at that. If there's anything that you feel strongly about that should be added or you think needs to be changed, please let me know. I anticipate giving that to Yuta by the end of this week so that she can formally give that to Manhattan Borough Commissioner, DOT and
So that's tomorrow.
That means tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think it's technically the 10th, because you said the 9th was the deadline, but the 10th is Monday, right? So.
Yeah.
But. Yeah. So yeah, if there's anything, maybe if you see a typo, if you see something off, just let me know. All right, next, 153rd Street Viaduct construction area. Victor asked me to add this. What happened was there was a bad accident on 153rd and Riverside Drive. And this was due to lanes not being marked, like it's completely just barren. And there was a bad head-on collision there, and he has asked DOT to make sure the lines and lanes are clearly marked in this area, even though it's a high construction area. So it's just something that we're going to monitor. Back on the 24th, there was a Community Block Association meeting, 136th Street Community Block Association meeting with Captain Rose. They were discussing the issues on 137th and between 137th and 138th and Broadway. Monique and I were both there. We were invited to come out. It was a nice event. They had lots of food. They spoke about a lot of the improvements they've been seeing in the area. Captain Rose was there to talk about some of the strategy that the NYPD is taking and some of the changes that they're looking to make to kind of deter the what's going on in that corridor. Next was we heard about the 116th Street bus project meeting, so I'm not going to go into that. There was an elevator meeting on the 28th of January regarding the proposed elevators on 125th Street, the one train subway station, Morningside Heights. I forgot what this coalition, community coalition, I believe it is, MRHS, MTA, Columbia, CB9, WHCC, they were all represented. Ted was on. I know Victor was on, I know Pat Watler Johnson was on, Yutha, were you on? I can't remember. Yeah, so, I have the minutes from that meeting, I can share that with the committee, but I just wanted to let you guys know that this meeting took place. It pretty much ended with no real commitment, from either MTA or Columbia at this time, so, the sponsors, MHCC and MRHS that are kind of leading and driving this, they're asking members of the community to write to Governor Hochul, to, add this to the MTA capital plan, for, I believe it's 2020, 6 to 2030. I believe it's that new capital plan, that's 5-year range. So, I will send that out to you guys because I have the meeting minutes for that, just to keep on top of it. I just wanted to make sure you all were. And then a reminder.
Can I just add one thing? Not only send letters to the governor, but also to all the other elected officials that have responsibilities in the area. And if you want, I can supply the email addresses of all of our electeds so that we can all send in letters. And it's not that hard, considering we have the ability to copy and paste.
It's a great idea.
There's
Yeah.
a template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set up a template.
So, Ted, if you could just send it to the committee, I think you're on email.
Yeah,
Just send us the emails and we'll work on getting those letters out to our elected officials and the governor.
And I
Yes.
looked up RHS, it's Morningside Retirement and Health Services Incorporated.
Okay, and last but not, we have two remaining things. There is a public hearing on the mayor's preliminary budget on Monday, February 10th at 6:30. I know Yutha has sent out email about this. Just wanted to make sure you all were aware of this. You know, there is a narrative that goes along with our budgetary needs. And what helps during these public hearings, if we have members of the community, ourselves included, talk about some of the needs that we have, especially on whether it has to do with transportation, whether it has to do with bike lanes, protected bike lanes. You know, these are the things we need to bring up at this meeting. So I just want to make sure you all were aware of that. The last thing was, I was trying to actually find a resource to make some complaints regarding, you know, when it came to billiards. And I got an email from someone and then I realized, oh, that name looks familiar. It happens to be my neighbor. My neighbor lives, he works for New York State SLA. He's the area division director. And part of his job is to talk to community boards about liquor licenses, about how they should go along, like some of the best practices. So I told him I was gonna mention it to you guys, but I had extended an invite to him to come talk to us at our next meeting. So he hasn't confirmed yet, but hopefully he'll be able to join us and kind of go through kind of the responsibilities of SLA versus the responsibilities of the community board and of what we can do to best serve our community when it comes to liquor license applications. So that's the last thing I had. Anyone else, anything else? I know we were long, but we didn't have a meeting on January, so keep that in mind. All right, may I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Thank you. All right, I'm ending the meeting at 8:38 PM. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a very good night and get home safe.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.